Hello friend and welcome to Borgcast the animated series 1.10 with Amory and Peter.
Hello.
We've got some previously on the magics of Magus 2 and it says me, so that's not me, it's you.
It's me, yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes, because I was listening back to the podcast and we referred to Azal from Doctor Who's the Demons as Bok, who of course is the wee gargoyle dude.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Azal, it is Azal we should have been talking about. Sorry for the confusion there. I blame a confusing episode of Star Trek. And beer, naturally.
I blame mostly the beer.
I'll have this to say, I'm fairly sure the pronunciation of demon in Who changes depending on whether the scene is on film or video.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
Because, there was a bit of a gap between the two, so yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Who, which also tended to use galaxy and universe and constellation interchangeably.
Yep.
Yes, it did. Anyway, tonight we are covering The Time Trap, which sounds like a Doctor Who episode as well.
It does.
Written by Joyce Perry, who wrote 10 episodes of Days of Our Lives, and her first writing work is 3 episodes of Western Laramie, which is presumably sponsored by the cigarettes. 5 episodes of Romance Theatre, 2 episodes of mid-70s Land of the Lost. I'd showed you the trailer for this.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, in which a family gets stuck in a dinosaur-inhabited world.
Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition met the greatest earthquake ever known. High on the rapids, it struck their tiny raft and plunged them down 1,000 feet below to the land of the lost.
Imagine 43 episodes of Doctor Who and Invasion of the Dinosaurs, complete with feeble stop-motion dinos and bad CSO, but to the accompaniment of Deep South banjos for no good reason.
Yeah,
it's just absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
Captain's log, stardate 52.2. We have just entered the Delta Triangle, a vast uninhabited sector of our galaxy in which a high number of mysterious disappearances of starships have been recorded since ancient times. The Enterprise has been assigned the mission of surveying this area and, if possible, determining the cause of these disappearances.
So, the captain's log, they've gone to investigate the Delta Triangle, where ships disappear.
Very much so, yes.
And the sensors are all in chaos. And then something appears, they magnify. It's a Klingon battle cruiser that fires, so they fire back and it vanishes.
So we got the, right at the beginning, we get the NAF firework effects we got at the centre of the galaxy.
I put the wrong disc in or something, I played the wrong episode.
Cheap.
Yeah. Anyway, the ship is not destroyed or cloaked, but they can't really tell what's happened because the sensors aren't normal. Clearly, this is something that's linked to the disappearances, which Kirk says is a natural event. So then there's a... How does he know that at this point? Anyway, he orders a 360-degree sweep, which I like, and they discover 2 other Klingon ships that were clearly... Well, they say it was going to be in a pincer movement, but that only works in sort of 2D space,
exactly,
not 3D space.
As does 360-degree sweep, I'm afraid. It has to be rather more than that.
Oh, what do you call it when it's a global sweep?
I don't know, but I bet Andy does.
Yeah.
And Kirk says they're caught in a mousetrap, which is rubbish because there's no big ball or bath to be seen.
No, and it's not written by Agatha Christie.
Not that either, no.
No. Bizarre.
It was the Klingon what done it.
Yeah, okay, I'll remember that.
Bought that for you now. No one going to see it.
No, it's the Klingon.
As soon as the Klingon walks on stage, it was him! He has no honour. It was me with the bat'leth.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't really understand that bit. And then Kirk says to Sulu, be ready to head to where the Klingon ship disappeared at Warp 8 on my mark, and then opens the channel. On the other side, the guy...
It's Commander Curie.
As in Marie Curie.
Kuri. I have no idea. That's probably not right. The same, is it?
No.
Guess who he's voiced by?
Presumably Doohan.
No, it was George Takei again, and rather more obviously this time. I'm kind of surprised you didn't pick up on it.
I think probably it's because what I really picked up on was the pronunciation Klingon rather than Klingon, and that was it. That was all I could hear initially. It's just, why are you not pronouncing the name of your own race right? But I think Takei says Klingon.
Klingon, yes. And he looks just like Commander Koloff from More Tribbles, because... Well, that's not me being racist and saying all Klingons look alike. They're reusing the animated cells, so lazy sods.
What fools thinking they can escape?
I love that line.
Yeah. He says that the ship has just vanished. Anyway, then suddenly that's it. They're going to be fired upon. They've jumped to Warp 8. The deflectors are dealing with the firepower initially. The instruments go haywire. Subspace goes dead. They wibble out, Scooby-Doo style. Uhura is dizzy and Sulu collapses from vertigo-type symptoms.
Yes, everybody's dizzy except for Kirk and Spock. Now, Spock has an excuse. Kirk does not.
No. Then they're in a ship graveyard, which reminded me of an episode of Ulysses 31.
Yes, there was a ship graveyard in that one as well, wasn't there? Yes. Yeah. And it's an odd assortment of ships, isn't it? Apparently there are unused designs for the alien ship from Beyond the Farthest Star, where they boarded that ship that looked very weird.
Yes, okay.
This is why most of these look pretty damn weird. One or two have like nacelles on and things and look a bit more Trek, but yeah.
So apparently some of them have been there for centuries, but Spock is picking up life forms that suggest there might be descendants still living. Klingons fire, nothing happens. Enterprise fires, nothing happens. Then Kirk vanishes. Now it's time to get anal about spaceships. Woohoo!
Took a trip on a Gemini spacecraft.
So one of the ships in the graveyard's the USS Bonaventure.
Oh yeah, that's apparently the one that had the first warp drive.
Yes, except wasn't that the Phoenix? Oh, unless this is the first Starfleet ship that had the first warp drive, of course. That might explain it. And we get a model of the USS Bonaventure in Deep Space Nine, in Keiko's classroom, which would make sense.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look anything like this, which is kind of like a fugly version of the Enterprise, basically.
Isn't it? Yeah.
If you cross the Constitution with Excelsior class, that's what you get, really.
Well, I don't know. It reminded me of oh, God. I think, a horrible feeling. It was written by Fergie, as in Princess Andrew's wife. Prince Andrew's wives. Yeah, the
Budgie, the
plane.
helicopter? No, it was a helicopter called Budgie, I think.
Okay, well, there was a plane as well as part of the same
Okay.
series. I think it was called Jumbo.
Right.
And it reminded me of that, meshed in with,
You're not thinking of Jimbo and the Jet Set?
Possibly.
That wasn't Fergie, though.
No, okay. Anyway, I have a memory of a childhood podgy
Podgy
plane.
Podgy plane.
Right,
Wow.
and as if that had somehow been mashed with an Enterprise, that's what the Bonaventure reminded me of.
Okay, I'm just going to Google now. Podgy plane. How are we spelling podgy?
Podgy.
Podgy plane.
It wasn't called podgy plane. That's my description.
Oh, you bugger!
Have you not heard the word podgy before?
Yeah, no, I just assumed that was the name.
No, I don't know what the fuck it was called.
Apparently, and this is the first thing that comes up, which is bloody AI, isn't it? So I'm not sure I trust it, but apparently it's a nickname for the B-24 bomber, Podgy plane, which is kind of believable. But anyway, I still wouldn't trust AI to speak my weight. Yeah, there's definitely helicopter keeps coming up. Budgie the little helicopter.
Did Budgie the little helicopter have a plane character in it?
I don't know. And you know what? At this point, I really don't care.
I would look up myself.
There aren't any on the covers, anyway.
Okay. Well, there was some kind of cartoon podgy plane, okay? And the cartoon podgy plane...
Oh, there's a plane on the cover of this particular Podgy book.
Right.
Which is going over, by the looks of it, Windsor Castle.
Uh-huh.
So she had aspirations still then, didn't she? But I wouldn't call it podgy particularly. It's got giant purple bows for some reason. Perhaps it's a Boeing.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, that's not what.
Oh, no. You're
No.
thinking of something else.
Right,
Shall we move on?
Yes, I'll Google it and you can edit it in.
Amory has since informed me that what she was thinking of was the female character from Jimbo and the Jet Set, which was Gloria, and Amory is suitably embarrassed and ashamed.
That was... I forgot that you would need me to stop to talk about unnecessary spaceships.
And never, ever unnecessary. You should have learnt that by now.
Because you went, whoa, we're skipping a bit. And I was thinking I'd missed some really significant, important plot point.
We also have James Doohan talking to himself as Core and his crew member Kaz.
So, what happened to Kyrie or Kylie?
He was left behind in the Alpha Quadrant or wherever they were.
Oh, okay. But Core isn't Core.
Well, he's supposed to be Core, but he isn't Core
because Core.
It's James Doohan. Plus, he looks nothing like the Core we know and love.
No.
So that was a bit wanky, wasn't it? I'm afraid.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks different to Koloff, which is something, but he doesn't look anything like John Colicos, and he doesn't sound like him anyway, because it's blooming James Doohan. But on the upside, his ship is called the Klophos.
Yes.
And it is established here as its name, and then Deep Space Nine refers to it as the Klophos. So it does establish this as continuity. So we're looking good for the canon side of things.
Okay. A Klingon is beamed into a circle, and he goes to pick up his weapon, and it's sort of... I don't know what it does, whether it gives him an electric shock or something.
Yeah, that's not really clear. I mean,
No.
I think it's just, makes it not work. But
Yeah.
it would have been better if it disappeared, which, let's face it, wouldn't have been difficult to do on animation, would it? But no, it just sort of sparkles and then doesn't work.
Yeah. Kirk's beamed in as well. 123 races in... And Devno, I think is an Orion, is told to tell the law or something. They're in Elysia. The Klingon can't fire because they abhor violence. They've had to work together, which is fair enough. And then Kirk says, are we in an alternate universe? And the answer is no, we are a pocket in the garment of time. What the actual buggery bollocky fuck is that?
I don't know. It's not very hopeful, is it? So we've got Zerius the Romulan, who's Jimmy Doohan again. Surprise, surprise. We've got, as you said, Devno the Orion, voiced by...
Nichelle Nichols,
Yep.
I presume. And then who is the yellow bint?
Right, I'm working my way around the room here. We've got a Klingon then.
Yeah.
We've got our first Kazinti, who in long shot, unfortunately, looks too much like Bungle from Rainbow. And the design will change for the Kazinti, who feature rather heavily in the next episode. There's an Andorian, an Insectoid,
Yeah.
a Phylosian plant person, last seen in the Infinite Vulcan.
Yeah. There's a Tellarite somewhere.
Yeah, and got there, yep.
Oh, sorry.
An amphibian with no nose and an aqua helmet. I don't know how she smells, but... Hey!
Could be one of the aquatic Zindi that we see in Enterprise.
It don't look anything like the aquatic Zindi. Interestingly, though, the memory alpha does suggest that the insectoid is one of the Zindi. The insectoid Zindi. I mean,
Okay.
but all insect people look the same to me. I'm insect racist. Damn it. We've got a white-haired Vulcan, a Tellarite, a human with an odd Starfleet uniform, possibly a very early one from the Bonaventure, of course.
Yeah.
And also, right at the end, do you recognise what that was? Gormless looking thing. It's a Gorn.
Really?
Yes, that was supposed to be a Gorn.
Oh.
It looks like it's had all its teeth removed, bless it. I think this scene may be the most aliens we've seen in Trek to this date.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, Journey to Babel. There was the one that was set in the mental asylum that had a few of the different races, but this one really goes overboard and obviously can afford to because, hey, it's animation.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, Kirk has returned to the Enterprise, and back on his ship, he vows that they will escape Elysia. But Scotty reports their dilithium crystals are deteriorating. Facing the same problem, Core chews out his subordinate, throwing paper at him. What? They're doing sums on paper? I didn't realise the Klingons were so primitive in this era.
Well, maybe it's because...
Then he flung an abacus at him. No, the computers are working.
Okay.
Mad. At the council, another Nichols voice character, since there's no Major Barrett in this episode, interestingly, called it Megan, who has cat-like eyes but is otherwise human-looking. It's your favourite character. The way she differentiates the voice is to make her sound really irritating.
God.
She sees Kirk and Kor's escape efforts. Kor has diverted all power to his engines except for the ones diverted to the disco that he's having on his bridge to try and escape. But it fails, possibly because he's playing the records too loud, we don't know. But it gives Spock an idea, which involves combining the Klingon and Federation ships. The Elysians know what our heroes are planning, but have their own sort of non-interference directive, which is fine. We get our only view of a Klingon conference room, I think.
The table seems very big.
And it's a triangle as well.
Yes.
Yes, it's not very practical, but there we go.
It's their own ouchie table of ouchie, isn't it? 'Cause
I
it's
guess so.
especially ouchie being
It
triangular.
is. Yes, you don't want to miss time going around the corner there. Ow. Kor is surprisingly willing to cooperate, and Spock holds their enemy's shoulders as he congratulates them on their decision. As soon as they are alone, Kor reveals they will destroy the Enterprise as soon as they are out of the pocket, so to speak. Lieutenant Gabler returns from the Survivor, so Doohan is definitely getting his double pay this episode. He's found a couple of Klingons who claim to have been lost. Lost my foot, Gabler rather incongruously says. I'm not sure that's a phrase that's ever been heard in Star Trek before or ever again.
Yeah.
You reckon it should have been my arse, didn't you?
Yeah.
But again, you weren't going to get that in Trek.
No.
Spock offers to escort them to the right place, placing his arms around their shoulders, all pally-like. And McCoy observes this and is worried about it, bless him. Kirk challenges his first officer about his pally behaviour, and Spock reveals the contact enabled him to read their minds. So this is the Vulcan mind touch to the rescue again. And I guess this was the reason why they renamed it as well, because it does seem more like a magical power in this, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, at least he's not sort of sitting in a chair oddly giving space a hug. I mean, you know.
Yeah, that was weird as well. But yeah, compared to the mind meld, which was a rather more involved process and meditative, this is just like Spock holds you on the shoulder and knows what you want for dinner. It's bizarre.
I mean, this is one of the things why I understand when some people say it isn't canon. It's got things in it like this that don't make sense. And that
well, it's just naff, really, isn't it? It doesn't feel Trek as a result.
And it's not done again in Trek. It's only here.
Only in the animated series, yes. Somehow Kaz is going to achieve the Enterprise's destruction using a tiny capsule, which seems unlikely.
It looks like a jelly bean.
Yes.
It's the jelly bean of doom from Kaz the Klingon. I mean, what the fuck kind of name is Kaz for a Klingon?
Yeah, it's Nichelle Nichols' turn to get double bubble bonus for voicing extra characters. And it's nice to have a female Klingon. I mean, it's only our second one, I think, so...
But Kaz
Kaz
is short for Karen. We've got a Karen Klingon.
It's a Klingon from Essex. I mean, what are you going to do? They've got to live somewhere. She drives a Ford Cortina and...
And she's had a whole load of Botox.
Yeah. We see the two ships not exactly lashed together, but with the Enterprise's engineering section like its arse resting on the Klingon impulse deck, which actually looks kind of neat, sort of sweet and odd at the same time.
It looks like insects mating, really.
It does a bit, doesn't it? Yes. Devner has just finished an Orion dance for the two crews, so we don't get to see it. We just get the ta-da! I guess it was A, too much effort to animate, and B, too sexy for the kiddies. Kirk kindly offers her a lift back, but she's resigned to being trapped. McCoy's in trouble for asking Callie for a dance. Turns out she's Kor's woman. Oh.
A woman?
Zarius prevents Kor from firing his disruptor in anger and places him, Kirk and McCoy on trial, which seems a bit unfair on the Starfleet officers.
Yeah, I thought that.
Callie puts her deadly pill in a panel in the warp control computer, so I guess it's not going to get pregnant at least, and it blinks. Zarius declares he will place the Cloakfoss and his crew in stasis, but Kirk points out this will mean his crew being punished too, so they get let off. Megan reveals the explosive on the Enterprise and Zarius warns Kirk. Spock spaces the pill, and the ships return to normal reality, splitting up with the explosive harmlessly detonating in space. McCoy calls Kor a scoundrel for claiming all the credit for their escape, which is hardly the Klingons' worst crime, is it? I mean, he's just trying to blow them up. But, how dare he claim credit? Really? Well, that's our episode. Is it cannonballs or Spock's balls?
Rock on, Tommy, you'll do for me.
His brain is gone.
It's definitely not complete balls because we've got the continuity.
Yes.
So the question is it's not awful, but it's not... It's really silly in parts that has the really annoying yellow bin that I want to kill. So I'm torn between canon and
By
Spock's
the yellow
balls.
bin, you mean Megan or whatever?
Megan,
Yes.
Megat, yeah.
No, I'm not going there. That was a reference to a Blake 7 podcast we used to feedback on. Good heavens.
Yeah. So I'm torn between Canon and Spock's balls.
Okay. I'm going with Canon because mostly I enjoy it. All right, the mind touch stuff is naff to say the least, but I don't mind. It's not bad. It's got Klingons in it. It's got all the races in it, in fact. It's not a bad plot. The crew are not acting too weirdly or stupidly, which is a bonus over some previous episodes.
Yeah.
And again, it was another episode I would have loved to see as a kid. That idea of the Enterprise and the D7 being connected together, that would have been, so exciting. So I'm calling Canon on this, even if you're not.
As I said, I'm not saying it's balls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just... because I've got mixed feelings about it. There were bits that... The problem is when I find a character annoying, it really colours everything. It's why I don't watch Voyager.
It was funny watching your face when she started talking.
God. Was it that obvious?
Yes, it was like, what the is this? But again, it's her trying to make her voice sound different, and as a result, making it sound like nails down a blackboard.
Yeah. So for me, that's the difficulty. There's a really, really annoying character in it, and that makes it very difficult for me. And I don't like the mind touch thing.
Yeah, that is naff, but...
But on the other hand, we've got Klingons. They're wearing pink, but it's Klingons.
Yeah.
We've got continuity.
I like that the two, Corin is I can't remember his deputy's name now, and I can't be asked to go back on my notes, but I like their to and froing. It's like,
Perhaps the time continuum affected his mind.
I wonder if we all haven't become affected.
Explain yourself.
Your willingness to work with your old enemy, Kirk. It is not like you, Commander. What do you really have in mind?
You do know me, Kaz. Very well. What would you think if the Enterprise suddenly disintegrated after our dual ship had pierced the time continuum?
I would think my commander had maneuvered brilliantly.
For a change, that actually Klingons getting on rather than threatening each other all the time. So that was quite nice.
Yeah. And I like the idea that all these different races couldn't escape, so they ended up
being chill about it all,
working together and just having a rule that you mustn't be violent. And I like the idea as well that when they're trying to escape, it's like, no, we all tried to escape, don't forget that, don't interfere. We've got to let them we've got to let them try. So I like those bits, but I didn't like the strange flashy weapon not worky thing. That was odd. Yeah, and I think as well I'm getting a bit bored of, it's a bit of unknown space, let's have some fireworks. Now it's the end of time or whatever the fuck it was last.
I mean, the Bermuda Triangle aspect to it is...
Now we're in something's intestine or whatever.
They're going to where no man has gone before all the time at the moment, aren't they? Which is kind of the, raison d'etre, but yeah.
I'd quite like them to just go to a planet and meet a new alien race, and they're kind of normal but different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the original series, it got a bit boring. The number of planets that were just like Earth, but from a different time period.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on what standing set was available that week. Well, at least here we're getting a lot more imagination, but it's all whacked out rather than...
Do you know what I mean? I'm just sort of... I think also it's entirely possible that having dealt with far too many stupid people in one day at work, I just was not in the right mindset for something.
Oh dear, yes, that might have flavoured your enjoyment or otherwise.
Yeah, but I'm not saying it's balls, don't get me wrong, and that it should be discounted or anything like that. I'm just somewhere between it's canon and it's Spock's balls, and I'm not sure.
Well, let's find out what the Llama God thought, shall we?
Long as it long, Scotty, fixie correct jig. Charlie says to not go in the space Bermuda Triangle. Now, one of the things I'm finding particularly odd about the animated series episodes is that I tend to watch them in an evening, late of an evening, usually sober. I'll just say right now, make some notes, and then I come and record my feedback the next day or something when I've had time to percolate it and gather my thoughts. And with the animated series, I'm finding that basically the next day I come to talk about the episode and mostly find myself asking, what actually happened? And I think that's because these stories are just so random, so odd, that it's really difficult to get anything to really stick. Or maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know, one of the two. Probably the latter, actually, but never mind. Anyway, this episode is a decent enough concept, I guess. It's the Space Bermuda Triangle. I guess the next episode will be all about getting trapped in space quicksand or something. But yeah, ships disappearing, turns out they're going to a parallel universe. Yeah, sure, that's a decent enough concept. Solid enough, fair enough. And also it's a parallel universe where time moves very slowly, so they can live out a normal immortal life there. So yeah, I mean, that's fair enough, that's fair enough. The big problem I have with the episode really is, given that we have this civilization of people over there, survivors that have been sucked through the rift before, and they say that this is the most perfect life they've ever had and none of them want to leave, my big question is, why? Aside from the immortality, the way that it's rendered in this episode is that basically it's just a bunch of ships hanging around in some blackened space. There's nothing there. There's nothing there at all to look at. There's nothing to see, nothing to do. It's just a whole graveyard of starships that they can hang around in. So yeah, that aspect of the episode really, really puzzles me, and it could have really done with a bit of more fleshing out, or at the very least a bit of better depiction. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to hang around there forever, given that I am functionally immortal. It just doesn't really make any sense to me. If it's meant to be some sort of paradise they're going to remain in forever, then it should be drawn to resemble that, but it just really doesn't look at it. And I'm not sure if there's a failure from the script for not describing where they actually were, or whether it's a failure of the animation department to actually depict what we're meant to be seeing. I think on the whole I'm going to put it down to both, maybe. But yeah, this is definitely an episode where we've said in the past that this is the kind of thing they couldn't have done on a television budget. This one they could have done, really. The only thing they couldn't have done particularly well would have been the graveyard of ships. They've just been sort of splotches on the screen. Although I did have to laugh when Scotty utters my favourite line of the episode. There are ships here that I've only seen crude drawings of. It's like, I mean, yeah, do you know what you're actually looking at? They're not exactly detailed drawings, are they now? Whilst at this point I'll be asking if you were getting anal about spaceships, there's just really not enough there to actually hang anything on, so I'm guessing you probably aren't going to be. But yeah, this episode is one that is a bit let down on the animation front, unfortunately. Similarly, whilst it's nice to see that there's so many different aliens represented in the Council of Survivors, or whatever they were, none of them are particularly exciting or imaginative or do anything that really pushes the boundaries of what couldn't have been imagined in the TV series. I mean, yeah, it's nice to see the Gorns and Televites, etc., but also, yeah, there's not a lot there that's different or you couldn't have not done with a guy in a suit. So yeah, again, a bit of missed opportunity in this episode, I think. I was also amused that when the Enterprise hosts the party that there's an Orion dance on board, and we don't actually get to see it because I don't know whether the animators would have gotten too horny or whether they just couldn't depict that because this is a show made for children. So yeah, which begs the question, why include it in the first place if they can't show it? So yeah, again, very odd there. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a callback to previous continuity, but also why bother if you can't show it? And yes, it's nice the Enterprise crew have to work with the Klingons, but it turns out the Klingons aren't trustworthy because they're not the trustworthy types. Yeah, I mean, that was meant to be seen. But I was rather amused by the fact that the Klingons were going to plan to destroy the Enterprise with what looked to be some sort of a special suppository. So yeah, luckily that was flushed out in time. Lucky that, eh? But in terms of the Klingons, though, one of the things that I am struggling with a bit with this episode is that we know that their depictions of the original series were just more than a little racist because they're full of Asian stereotypes. In this episode, we have Commander Curry, who is voiced by George Takei, who is himself Asian, and honestly, I don't know if that's more or less racist. I'll leave that to other people to decide. It's a bit of a head scratcher for me. Presumably he took the role because he was going to get a little extra money as well as voicing Sulu in this episode, but it's a bit of an odd one, that one. But yeah, in terms of whether I enjoyed the episode, I mean, again, it was kind of fine. Spock doing his pretend pally stuff so he could be touchy-feely and use his touch telepathy. Vulcan Mind Meld saving the day again. I mean, that aspect of things was kind of fine, I guess. But yeah, it's not great, but not bad either. So yeah, I guess it was just fine. The big question, though, of course, is it canon or is it balls? Well, they do mention the Bone Adventure in this episode, which Scotty claims is the first starship to be fitted with a warp engine. And of course, we know from canon that the Phoenix was the first starship with a warp engine. But of course, I think you can kind of explain that, though, by saying that the Phoenix wasn't what you'd call a starship. It was more of a test bed, really. Maybe the Bone Adventure was the first proper starship, something that would actually carry a whole crew full of people. That was the first actual large-scale ship that was meant to explore things that had a warp engine and wasn't just a little test flight thing. So I'm going to say you can definitely explain that away as being something that didn't break canon, and a canon of a thing that hadn't actually been invented at the point the episode was made in the first place. So yeah, I'm going to say it doesn't go against canon. And not just because I want everything in the animation series to be canon, but also I do. So yeah, as episodes go, it was fine, and as I'm saying, it was canon. But as ever, we're interested in finding out what everyone else made of this. I hope everyone is careful that they're inserting the right pills into their engineering systems, and until the next time, glory to you and your cast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really thought of it as a suppository.
Yes,
actually.
beware Klingon suppositories.
I think that's a good analogy, really, now. In terms of why they don't want to leave, I think it's more they can't, and so they've made the best of what they've got.
Yeah, but what he's saying is they're making the best of it, just seems to be hanging around in space, which admittedly doesn't seem massively appealing. I mean, for all we know, of course, there are parties going on those ships.
We could have done
time.
with seeing some of the other ships, because maybe they made... You know, where were their resources and all that coming from? Maybe they went a bit Battlestar and made one of them over to like farming and you know, and they've got the sewage ship or something. And
yeah, right.
You
it's
know,
the ragtag fleet. Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's the one that's got all the prostitutes on it. Or that was just the original Galactica, wasn't it? But anyway.
Yeah, and there's a ship floating around that looks like a toilet seat.
And there's another one that's got like a casino in it.
Yep.
Yeah. We needed to see the casino at the very least, I think, or the pub.
Yes. And yeah, with the Orion dance, why include it if you can't show it?
It does seem a bit of an odd choice, isn't it? Yes. But there we go. And I did that crude drawings line. Yeah. That struck me when I saw it. So I thought, that you really don't want to be drawing attention to that, do you, really?
So are you going to include the jingle, Let's Get Anal About Spaceships, in the bit I forgot where you tell me off?
Possibly, yes, if I remember.
Well, this is me saying so that you can remember and then insert it.
There's a chance, yes. Rather like a Klingon suppository, you mean? Ouch.
Oof.
Yeah, I know. It's going to have pointy ends, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, let's find out what Perry thought, shall we?
Hello, Args. Perry here to talk about the time trap. Now, this is possibly the first one where I think they didn't properly explore the opportunity that the episode kind of presented. It has some interesting things. One thing I've noticed, does Starfleet keep sending them places where ships regularly disappear? I mean, the Lorelei signal, they were sent to a place where ships regularly disappear at the time when the ships usually disappear. In the last one, they were sent to the centre of the galaxy, universe, whatever. This one, they've been sent to basically a space Bermuda Triangle where ships regularly disappear. Is there an animal in Starfleet who wants rid of them? Just wondering. But they end up, the Klingons are appearing sort of as a bit of a Saturday morning cartoon baddie, sort of every so often they show up, they fire disruptors at people a bit and, curse at Kirk for a little. Interestingly, the plot of this, though, they get sucked into this dimension. We've got a lot of cool spaceships, including one that's, arguably caused a whole load of canon issues with the Bonaventure being the first ship to ever be equipped with warp drive, which then vanished without a trace. And it suddenly brings in this concept of, at this time, did Starfleet exist before warp drive? Because we know Cochrane invented warp drive, and that obviously doesn't tie up with things we saw in First Contact. And the answer is no one cared. They just wanted to say something and show that it was an old ship. And, it's quite a neat sort of like a janky earlier version of the Enterprise. I thought that was quite neat. And the idea of the whole culture that's grown up there, who's sworn to aggressively be peaceful, which is kind of odd. But they've got this culture that basically lives in there because they can't get out. I thought that was actually quite a neat idea. It's not really explored much. We tend to go with this idea of Kirk and the Klingons having to team up to escape, which is a fairly standard fare, and the Klingons setting a bomb on the Enterprise to blow it up after they've left because they're mischievous Klingons. Oh yeah, and so it very much drops into more traditional TV stuff. But nonetheless, I mean, I thought it dragged a little in the middle. I think, like I say, for all that some of the voices, I don't know who was doing the voices, but they all probably got a bit of extra money this time round. But the voice of the psychic woman was particularly annoying. But yes, I thought they could have explored more with the actual culture. Now, interestingly, I think Voyager lifted this plot, not quite exactly, obviously, but there's an episode called, I think it's The Void, where Voyager gets pulled into this void with a whole lot of ships that are stuck there and can't get out, and they kind of form a mini federation. It's actually, if I remember it being quite good for that concept. But yeah, it's very much the time trap all over again. Only, obviously the time trap tends to focus on just the Enterprise and the Klingon ship trying to escape. But nonetheless, I think there's still some entertainment to be had. It's just, like I say, I think a couple of rewrites and we could have probably done something a bit more interesting looking at this culture. And obviously, with canon balls, it's very hard to fit this one into canon because obviously with First Contact kind of very much cementing where the first warp engines came from, it doesn't really gel to see a Starfleet ship being the first one with warp drive. My personal massaging it away is that it was the first ship to be fitted with the drives they use today, the modern iteration of warp drive as opposed to Cochrane's one. And it vanished without a trace, and there was a ship called the Bonaventure. Although a lot of tie-in fiction actually had Cochrane's ship called the Bonaventure as well, so it's had some ripples. But yeah, overall, like I say, it wasn't dull, but I think they could have done better with them. So all it remains me to say is do keep up the good work. I'll look forward to the podcast, and I hope to be back in the next one. But until then, bye for now.
Bye.
Yeah, I think you've picked up on what I was saying before. It's not just about, oh, look, there's all the fireworks. It is, we've been sent to somewhere planes disappear 3 times in a row.
They're trying to get rid of Kirk. That's what it is.
Oh, okay. No, I'm fine. That's all right. But they shouldn't have to get rid of Spock as well.
He didn't like Megat either.
No, just so fucking annoying.
And remember, Cochrane's ship wasn't a Starfleet ship, so we can probably get round the problem with that, I think. I mean, I can't remember exactly they referred to it as either a Federation ship or an Earth ship or a... I think they say Earth ship, which would be the only issue, because it's only when Earth people invent the warp drive we suddenly get, the Vulcans turning up and all that stuff. So I don't think that's an issue, really. Oh, thanks for a Voyager episode. Oh, yeah. Good. Oh, I don't think I've got time to watch that, he says. Actually, not being completely lying, but if I do get the chance and it's utter crap, I'm going to blame you, Perry. I'm going to come round and I'm going to leave a steaming pile of flaming poop on your doorstep.
Oh. Okay.
Or sneak in a Klingon suppository into one of your pies.
Yep. Nice.
Well, anyway, they didn't enjoy it as much as we did, I think is fair to say. Or possibly I did. I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
But I didn't think it was that bad. I was quite enjoying it when I watched it. Blow it.
Fair enough.
Next up, we have the Slaver weapon with the aforementioned Kazinti in it, looking rather more gormless than they did in this one. And that's on the 30th of October. And on the 22nd next week, we shall be covering Babylon 5's
DEATHWALKER! Oh.
And that's over on the Babylorg 5 podcast. But until the next time, we're talking into your ears or inserting Klingon suppositories where we really shouldn't. Take care. Cheery bye.
Bye, boy.
Theme for Star Trek The Animated Series was written by Ray Ellis and Norm Prescott.
Any music used in this podcast is for illustrative purposes only, and no copyright infringement is intended.
Find our website at borgcast.libsyn.com.
We have a Facebook group which you're welcome to join.
Send emails or MP3s to borgcast@gmail.com.
Find us on Blue Sky at broadcastammo.bsky.social
and revorg.bsky.social.
Shut it down!